Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Latham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Latham. Episode number 420, and I want to discuss Microsoft's announcement a couple of days ago that it's discontinuing Skype. It is no surprise to me that they are discontinuing Skype. They have been putting a lot of effort into their M365 product, which includes Teams. Teams looks a lot like Skype does, or did at least at one point. And it's integrated with the M365 business product. So it makes sense to me that Skype is being discontinued. It must be a drain on their resources to keep it running. And if they've got a comparable product, they should combine them and do away with one. So that makes sense to me. It doesn't help, though, for people who are using Skype and have been using Skype for years and are looking to what they can replace it with, why they would want to move to Teams, or what they would replace the functionality that Skype gives them. So let me go through a couple of things here. I'm going to do two parts to this video. First of all, what you can use instead of Skype to do your basic messaging and group stuff. And then I'm going to have a chat about the phone functionality that came with Skype that most of us ended up using Skype for, because it gave us really cost-effective international calls, and we could make calls. And for some of us, we had private numbers on there. We had numbers that we could use. So I want to cover that off as well. Let's just start with the first bit. What can you replace Skype with? Teams is a viable option. It looks the same pretty much. Your username and password moves across. You can just log into Teams and start using that. You've got your one-on-one chats. I don't think your chats go across, but you've got your one-on-one chats in Skype that you had in Skype. You can have them in Teams. They have communities, so you can create groups of people to have group chats with, and they have the Meet functionality to do the video calling. And that's video calling amongst MS Team members, Microsoft Team members, users. Users is probably a better word. So you can use Microsoft Teams. That is a very valid option, and I expect a lot of people are just going to move across to that. If you're not a fan of Teams, and I've got to say I wasn't a fan of Teams. Once I started using it, Skype and then Teams, I've used both. And I do use Teams because I've got some clients who use Teams. I just find Teams is a little heavy in terms of resource usage, and it's a bit clunky for me. So I'm not a fan on Teams in general, although it has some really nice functionality that we do use with some of my clients. So there is that. It's got its pros and cons. I don't like it for personal use. How's that? The other options you have, you can always use Zoom if you want to do one-on-one video calls, or Zoom video calls for up to 100 participants. Not so great for the back and forward chit-chat conversations. It's not really a Teams type. There we go, Teams. There we go. A team type communication tool. There's Google Meet, which is reasonable as well. I mean, Google Meet's been around for a very long time. I think it was Google Chat at one point, and they renamed it Google Meet. It is a lot like Skype. Got what I was talking about there. It's a lot like Skype. It's got a different interface. You have very similar functionalities. You can do video conferencing. You can have group conversations. You can have one-on-one conversations. So there's Zoom, there's Meet. If you like, there's also WhatsApp. I have another client that uses WhatsApp and creates groups for various things they're doing, various coaching groups, various events that they're running. They have a whole heap of WhatsApp groups going. You can have WhatsApp individual calls. You can use WhatsApp for text messaging, voice, and video calls. So you can do amongst yourselves. Other ones that I've seen that you can use are Signal, Telegram. I use Signal. I don't use Telegram, but I do use Signal. I've got a group that likes to use Signal, so we use Signal for that. And my personal favorite, honestly, is Discord. I know people can say that's a gaming platform, Charlie. It's used for gamers. Yeah, it is. It was designed to replace. Oh, I can't even think what it was called now. It's still out there, but it had problems, and Discord just sort of came out of nowhere, and it was fantastic. And it was really designed to let gamers get together so that they could share screens, they could stream their games to their servers, they could have conversations, voice conversations whilst they're on their games and coordinate. Absolutely fantastic for that. But I have found Discord to be absolutely wonderful in terms of setting up my team, getting my team on board, doing group conversations with the team, being able to communicate individually with team members about things, keep everything in one place. There's some great functionality within Discord that you can set up one server, and you can have private areas on the server for each of your different user groups, and the different user groups won't even know that the other groups are there. So there's some really good security and privacy functionality within Discord. So I really like Discord. It lets me share my screen, it lets me stream my screen, it lets me do voice calls, I can do one-on-one calls, I can do group calls, get into a conference room and do group calls and do some training with my staff. The other thing I really like is its mobile interface is fantastic. I have it on my phone, and I can be contactable pretty much anywhere. So there's some viable options for you for replacing the intergroup communication, if you like, or the group communication using text and voice and video. Yeah, there's some really good options there for you. What none of those do, however, is provide you with the ability to call out to external phone numbers to people that are not using your service, that service. People have to be on that service. People have to join. People have to be online to be able to get those calls and to be able to participate. What they don't do is allow us to make phone calls out, and that was one of the benefits of Skype, wasn't it? It was that you could use it to ring phone numbers. I used it a lot to ring international numbers until I found other options. So what other options do you have? You actually are probably going to have to go to a dedicated soft client and Digital PBX type service. In Australia, it's a little bit more problematic. I know that when I do searches, like what can I use? And the first one that always comes up is Google Voice. Google Voice is not available in Australia. Maybe it will be one day. I'm not sure I would actually ever use it, to be honest. But you can use, there is Google Voice if you're outside of Australia. Ring Central, 8x8, Vonage, local phone. There's any number of services out there that will let you do it. The other one that I'm going to talk about today is 3CX. I have spoken about it in previous videos. I'm a reseller for 3CX. I've done all their training. Well, I've done a lot of their training. Can't do all of the training. There's always training going on. I've done their training. I use 3CX within my business, and I've set several customers up on 3CX. I also provide a managed 3CX service for my clients as well. All of these operate in the same, well, in a similar way. You take a service with them, you get a trunk. They're all done slightly differently, but you get a trunk, which is a phone line, essentially a digital phone line. You rent a phone number from them, which is no different to taking the phone numbers that we get on our phones. We're basically renting them every week, every month anyway, or every period that we've got the phone. For as long as we've got the phone, we're renting that number. You rent the number, you assign the number to the trunk, and then you can make calls out. get calls in. The benefits of these types of systems, though, is that it's not just, one phone. You can set up queues. A lot of these you can put call hold, okay, music on hold, call waiting. You can set up voicemails. You can set up IVRs, interactive voice receptionists, or internet interactive voice receptionists, and have them say, press 1 for sales, press 2 for customer support. You get the idea. Not so much those aren't so much a big thing for small business, but if you're looking for something that you want to replace the Skype functionality, you are probably going to have to go down that path. There's not a lot else out there. I would strongly recommend looking at 3CX over the others. And the reason I'm going to say that, at the moment, 3CX's pricing is very competitive for the services that you get. You're not paying a lot of these services you go to, and they say, yes, it's $15 US per user per month. 3CX has done it for small business, so that you pay for a specific number of concurrent calls, and it doesn't matter how many users you have on the system. It limits it by the number of concurrent calls that you have. So I kind of like that, because that lets me scale my business and manage my cost base better. I might have 10 users, but I might only be making 2 or 3 phone calls a month, and I might only be getting in 3 or 4 phone calls a week. And at $15 a user per month, that's very expensive. When you're talking about $300 or $400 a year, and you can have as many users as you like, then it's a very different story. Some of the benefits with these as well is that they will integrate with some of those other systems that I spoke about. Your M365, your Google, some of the other CRM products, so that you're not just going to have your chats over here and your phone calls here. You can do some data population, cross population on them. So they're the things that they're some of the services you can look at. The things that I'm going to recommend, that if you do go down that path to look at those services, what you need to consider is it a cost per user per month? Is it a cost per call? How many calls can you get per month, even if you are paying a cost per user per month? All these things that I've been I found out as I go along. What are the restrictions? Can I call international on these? Some of these won't allow you to call international. You need to pay more to be able to call international. What are their call rates? So it's not just that you're paying for the users per month. Some of them then charge you for the calls on top of it. What do the phone numbers cost you to rent per month? Is there a different cost for a mobile number? Can you get mobile numbers? Can you get phone numbers in your country? Can you get phone numbers in your country, in your region? I know in Australia, someone will come to me and say, I want a phone number in New South Wales, preferably in the Sydney region, and I can go and get a phone number within the Sydney region for them. Doesn't work in all the regions, but I can normally get it by state I can get it by state at the very least. So can you get phone numbers in your area? Can you get a landline? Can you get a standard landline number? Or can you get a cell number, a mobile number? Not so much an issue with the US, because their cell and their mobile numbers are interchangeable. Sorry, their cell phone numbers and their landline numbers are basically the same format. Very, very, very important in Australia, where we do have different format numbers. Can you send SMSs? Can you send MMSs? Can you receive SMSs? Can you do group SMSs? All of those sorts of things that you need to ask yourself, is this going to be important to me? Can I run my business like this? What can I do with what are my must-haves? What can I do without? In terms of the phone numbers as well, make sure that you have portability on the phone numbers. Not all of these services will allow you to take your phone number with you if you move. That's a problem, because if you decide that you don't want to be with this service provider anymore, and you want to move to a new service provider, and they say, no, that's our phone number, you can't have, we're not going to release that, you have to then go and change your phone number, and you've got to go and tell your clients and go through all of that stuff that goes along with changing a phone number. So do make sure that you've got portability. It's called portability on your numbers. That includes numbers that you might have ported in. So you might port in a number to a provider. Check their terms and make sure that you can actually port that number out, that it is your number and they're not taking ownership of it and keeping it in their pool. What else? Can you make phone calls within each other? Can you make phone calls within the network to each other? Sometimes if you're just looking for something to replace the voice call functionality of Skype, that might be an option for you as well. Just use that rather than any of the other services I've recommended. Okay, guys, there's a few things to think about. If you want some advice, if you'd like to talk about it, if you just want to get some clarity, you can always book a free call with me, and I'm happy to chat with you. I give you 30 minutes for free, and we can absolutely just talk about these things and the things that you'll need to consider and how they might apply to how you do business. Go to my website, askcharlylatham.com.au, and book your free 30-minute. askcharlylatham.com. Having a day, and book your free 30-minute consultation. You can leave me comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. I will respond to them here. You can come across to my locals community. That's probably the best place to be, askcharlylatham.locals.com. You can join there, you can interact with me, you can ask questions, give advice, whatever works for you. It's a community. It's a community that I'm trying to build for business owners to support each other, as well as having someone that they can talk to that might be able to find someone that can help you out or be able to answer the questions. So come across there. You can always send me a DM on any of my social media channels, and I'll get back to those eventually. Was this video useful to you? If it was, please leave a like, hit the like button. I'm having a day, honestly. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlylatham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.